official visit from the Pope of Rome to the Queen of England since back in the King Henry and his Bloody Mary daughter's era. His daughter, Queen Mary, that they call Bloody Mary because of all the people she killed. And remember, he wanted to get a divorce, and he wanted to remarry, and they wouldn't let him remarry who he wanted to remarry. So he was like, screw y'all, I'll set up my own church and whatever. And that's kind of what they've been running, albeit that his daughter was a Catholic, he was a Catholic. But he had set up his own church. So I'm saying that to say something is going down. If the Europeans at this time feel like the Pope of Rome needs to make an official, now this ain't the first visit to England, but an official visit to the Queen of England, if they're trying to reunify, there is a reason for that, and my people need to pay attention to that while they're watching all these other distractions. Now, there's something I wanted to touch on in connection to what he said, but before I get into it, because it's going to be a little bit more drawn out, I want to make sure that there wasn't someone else waiting in the wings with a question.
Okay, well, we're at the top of the hour, and I just want to take a minute and a half or a 2-minute break so we can get some water, okay?
Go ahead, sweetie.
All right. Welcome back to the Truth to Power show, and my name is Beverly D., and you're listening to Dr. Yaffa Bey. Dr. Yaffa Bey, we're back.
Okay, now, he was saying earlier about the brothers that are paid for their genetics or CTA, DNA, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to submit to you that while there are brothers that are higher up in these gangs that are being directed by European masters to telling them what to do and who to kill, while they tell the little youngsters that are just trying to get jumped in or whatever who to kill and what to do. A lot of these people that look like us are not us. But before I get into that, I'm going to say this. I sent out a YouTube, I sent out an article that someone forwarded to me about some European cat that had committed a string of robberies. And he was in one of these Hollywood high-tech masks, and he looked just like a brother. You wouldn't, meaning there are people that can walk around amongst us and be in our midst looking just like us, and they are not us at all. Some of them are other people in Hollywood-type costume makeup doing these things. Also, I have a C-star. You guys say sister. I have a C-star that is ex-sheriff deputy. And she herself told me one day, she said, you know, Yaffa, I was trained to shoot. She said, and I'm going to tell you this. Based on what I know with my law enforcement background, I am inclined to tell you that most of these drive-by shootings are not done by brothers in the hood. Because if you know anything about shooting and you have had any kind of shooting training, you are fully aware that it is very difficult to hit a moving target. And if you're moving and your target is moving, without training, it's almost impossible. That's why you know when these young brothers are doing the shooting, because they're hitting stray children and everybody else that they're not aiming at. When you have somebody in a car that's moving, shooting at somebody that's also moving, especially if they're running, that happens to hit the target, that is someone that is trained to shoot. A lot of these brothers do not have training in shooting. Some of them, their guns are not even legally registered. And a lot of them haven't set foot in a gun range to even practice that shooting. So what she's saying to me is a lot of these drive-by shootings are not being committed by the people that are being blamed for them, that most probably these drive-by shootings are being committed by law enforcement. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and everybody that thought I was crazy before, you're really going to think I'm crazy now. But I got to bring this up just because folks need to know. You can take it or leave it, but I got to give it to you like I got it. I was talking to a young lady on my block one day who had the most beautiful baby pit bull I had ever seen. And when I say baby pit bull, the first time I told this story to a sister of mine or sister of mine, she thought I was talking about a puppy. No, this was not a puppy. The back of this pit bull was at my knee. I'm approximately 5'6", 5 feet tall, 5 feet 6 inches tall. This pit bull stood as high, the top of the back of this dog was at my kneecap, which means the dog's head was above my kneecap. But he was still a puppy. Now, I was talking to, I don't do dogs, cats, pets, I'm not into animals. But this was the most beautiful dog I had ever seen in my life. And I was talking to this sister, and I'm like, dang, what do you do with this dog? He looked to me like she had gone to a Home Depot or some other type of hardware store and bought a can of shellac and just painted his ass with clear paint. That's how pristine this dog looked. And she said, well, I feed him right and I brush him a lot. Now, I'm standing on the curb talking to this sister. What looked like a sister came up the street pushing a shopping cart, apparently homeless, collecting cans or God only knows what was in the shopping cart. However, I'm standing on the street, in the tar, talking to the sister who was standing on the sidewalk on the concrete in Los Angeles. This woman walks up to us, and she's approximately half a block away from where we were standing. And I see her out of the corner of my eye, and this dog, I don't know why this dog liked me so much, but this dog, he didn't jump up on me, but he kept brushing up on my legs. I don't know if you've ever seen a cat, how a cat will keep rubbing up against somebody's leg and walking through someone's legs, rubbing on the person. This dog was rubbing all on me like I was some kind of, like he was some kind of cat. And the dog's name is Baby. That's what she calls the dog, Baby. But I heard this lady out of the corner of my eye saying, oh, what a pretty dog. And I looked at her, and I kept talking to the sister and playing with the dog, and the sister looked at her, and before we knew it, the lady was getting closer to us. All of a sudden, the dog stopped and stood at attention and looked at this sister, who had to be still at least 5 car lengths away. But by the time she got within 3 car lengths of us, this dog started backing up onto the sidewalk. Because remember, I was in the street. The dog is out in the street with me. The dog started backing up onto the sidewalk. Now, this is a pit bull, okay? Mm-hmm. I don't know what the deal was, but from the sidewalk to this sister's porch, where her door was on the porch, was at least 2 car lengths long, because in her driveway you can park 2 cars, and her door was that far back. The closer this woman got to us, the more the dog backed up. Now, I have never seen anything like this in my life other than in science fiction movies.
Right.
This dog did not bark at the woman. This dog did not growl at the woman. This dog did not whimper in fear of the woman. But the dog kept an intelligible distance away from this woman. As she got closer, the dog took more steps back. And I'm looking at the dog, and the sister's looking at her dog like, what the hell? And this sister, now, by the time this sister got to where we were standing, and I watched the dog do this, he had walked backwards from the sidewalk 2 lengths up the walkway to his porch and backed up the porch. He didn't turn around and walk up the stairs front way. This dog backed up the porch and stood on its porch and watched her from at least a 2-car length distance. And I'm saying that to say, I don't know what this sister, she looked like a sister. She was heavily melanin rich, very dark. But whatever she was, I don't think she was real. I don't think she was, for lack of better words, people. I'm going to give you an example. My son was walking down the street one day, and all of a sudden, this little straggly, now on the bus stop bench, a few feet in front of him, about a half a block away, was what appeared to be a homeless brother. This little stray, scraggly-looking dog came, trotting along, walking in the same direction that my son was walking in, came up from behind him, passed him up. Now, this is after the incident with this knee-high pit bull named Baby.
Right.
This little scraggly thing, he's just moseying along and minding his own business, and he gets about a car length away from where this brother was sitting on the park bench. And my son said, Mama, I ain't never seen no shit like this. He said, this dog stopped, looked at the dude, ran around in circles a couple of times, bounded out in the street, bounded back onto the sidewalk, ran around in circles again, and then turned and headed tail in the opposite direction from where he and my son were walking. And the whole time he kept looking back over his shoulder like, please tell me this dude ain't coming after me. Please tell me this dude ain't coming after me. And my son was like, I don't know what that dude was, but it's almost like something about his presence short-circuited this dog. Now,
well, someone in the chat room was saying maybe it could have been a hologram.
That's possible. Like I said, whatever it is, these are not people. They look like people, but they're not people. And if they are people, I don't know what type of critter they may be. Now, my sister, the sheriff deputy that I was telling you about, she's a cat lover. She's got cats. She had, I think, at one point 3 or 4 cats. Now, I'm not sure if she only had 1 cat when this happened or if she had 3 cats when this happened. But either way, it was late at night, and some homeless people were coming down the street with shopping carts. Now, this has happened many times before. People coming down the street with shopping carts to collect cans and go through the garbage or whatever. No big deal. But this particular instance, nothing was in her trash can but kitty litter and cat shit. Kitty litter with cat shit. Whatever was going on, when these people came down the street, her cat went into a short-circuit type of mode, kind of like what my son is talking about, and then did a mad dash. Now, these people are outside, past the grass, past the sidewalk, and the second batch of grass, and in the street where the garbage cans are. But something about one or both of these people upset her cat so much that her cat short-circuited and hightailed it to the back of the house and ran and hid up under the bed. And there was nothing in the trash can but kitty litter and cat doo-doo. And I'm saying all this to say to you guys, no matter how crazy I'm sounding to you right now, there are people out there that look like us and they're not us. Not only do they look like us, I'm starting to think that they're not even people. And I'm saying to you, be on the lookout for these people. I don't know if they're reptilians. I don't know if they're shapeshifters. I don't know if they're clones or genetic modifications or manipulations. I don't know if they're holograms. I don't know what they are, but they look like you and they're not you, just like this European dude that was committing all these armed bank robberies, looking just like a brother and had the police looking for a brother, and he was a cracker boy, a so-called white boy in